Hi, Vanessa, and anyone else who's here. I'm broadcasting early because Cindy was having some sort of issue getting into the webinar. There she is, there's Cindy. So apologies for silence for the next little bit. Hi, Cindy.
Lucky you.
Lucky you.
I know. Hello, ladies.
Welcome.
Especially the ones I don't know. Komal, Malini.
Hi.
Ashwini.
Hi, Anand.
Hi. I can see a cycle tire in Ashwini's, window. Ah, there she is. That's still there.
Hey, Cindy, now you're muted. There we go.
Yeah, there we go. Anand, when Magda said that she was watching us, I felt safe with you around.
Yep.
Yeah.
I got a baseball bat, yes.
Okay. Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. Our topic for today is the very famous or infamous core competency 2, managing expectations. And I know we've been through this a number of times, but Ram and I had a chat a few weeks ago or a few months ago, and Ram says, well, we've got to start all over again. Let's do CC2. So here we are in discussion with core competency 2. But I thought today we'll make it a bit interesting. And we'll do a piece of role play, or I will coach Malini. And the coaching is going to be slightly different today. And what's different is that I'm going to coach her, and she's going to respond, and we're going to stop and ask all of you to type your response to the client into the chat box. Okay? So you all are going to be coaches. So we will stop. Again, Malini, I would ask a question to Malini or share an insight. Malini will talk and stop so that you can all respond. So we all are going to be coaches to one client. That's wonderful, right? Multiple coaches. And thereafter, we go into a discussion on core competency 2, and we can brainstorm, debate, discuss, and argue how best to demonstrate or what was demonstrated, and how best we could do it differently. I can see there are a few advanced coaches or MCCs on the call. May I invite all the MCCs to go into a mentoring role today and keep an eye on the chat box. And if you notice any learner needs a mentoring moment, will you respond to them individually or privately? Send them a private message. Are you okay with that? Let's see who our MCCs on the call are. Okay, I can see a few advanced coaches there. Okay, there's enough. So again, we are going to do a demonstration, and I am going to ask you all to respond to the client. So I would ask a question, the client's going to respond, we would go silent and ask you all to type into the chat box. That's how we would do it for about 20 minutes and then go into a discussion. And all advanced coaches and MCCs, please keep an eye on the chat box. And if somebody needs a mentoring moment, then offer that support to them privately. And then there's, coaches all on the call. If somebody reaches out to you, engaging them in a discussion, we'll make this a learning moment for all of us. or a 1 hour of learning. Malini, are you good to go?
Yes, I am.
Malini, thank you for, saying yes to being a client in a very unusual type of coaching.
I was thinking I'll take a printout of all the questions and answer them in my head, one after the other later on.
Oh, that would be a lot of questions, right? Because we have so many coaches
I
today.
hope so. I hope so.
Yeah. And thank you for providing us all with this learning time, because that's exactly what's going to happen. You're giving us all a chance to respond to you, and it will create learning for all of us, or some kind of learning and discussion. Around confidentiality, are you okay?
Yes, I'm fine.
Okay, so I'll just dive straight in, okay, and start with inviting you to share what you would like to raise in coaching today.
Okay. So last, I think, couple of weeks, I have been feeling very disorganized, very overwhelmed, and there are about maybe 15 different lists in my head for different topics or different areas of my life. And normally I'm a pretty organized person. I'm just not motivated to sit down and take it out from my head. Like I go to the kitchen and I see I have to do these 5 things. I'm with my daughter, I say, oh, I have to do these. I open my cupboard and I say, I'm traveling to India, I have to buy these. Or for my coaching practice, or for my EMCC certification now. So there are these various lists in my head and I'm swimming in them without actually doing anything about it. And I think I'm also, I've just got through one milestone of my PCC. My parents have come here and gone. They have spent time with my daughter. We are traveling. So it's an in-between kind of a time. And I'm spending time with my daughter. I'm just not motivated to get everything out on a piece of paper or on a diary or on a list and get going. So it's everything in my head and I'm not motivated. I just want to use this time with you. And when you said, so do you want to be coached? I said, yes. I said, wonderful time for me to just take these 20 minutes where there's no list in my head and I can talk to you and figure out how to move forward.
Okay. So coaches, how would you respond to the client? Type your answers into the chat box. There's no right and wrong here, so go to town. How would you respond to the client? Come coaches, Malini is waiting for your response. You all are coaches to her. How would you respond? Okay, you carry on typing your response in, and I'm going to repeat. Will the MCCs and advanced coaches keep an eye on the chat box and offer a mentoring moment to a learner if need be? So Malini, I hear you saying a few things are going on, and mostly it's around having all these thoughts of things that you would like to do. Some of it seems to be you have taken actions around, like your PCC certification, and well done. Congratulations on that. And some of it is, as you described it, just swimming around. You are swimming in it. How are you feeling at the moment, with all these things going on in your head?
Surprisingly, when you ask me how am I feeling, I'm still feeling in control. Because I know I'll do it. I'll find I will do it. I just want to. So I'm feeling in control. At the same time, I feel a little bit of, I don't know, strange hollowness here in my chest at this moment. When you ask me how are you feeling, it's a strange hollow here in my chest, but I'm feeling in control, and I don't know how. When I'm saying also, it feels very. It doesn't sit right. That when I'm saying in control, and there is a hollowness which is not in control. I don't know. Yeah. Okay, I don't know what I'm saying right now.
Coaches, how would you respond to Malini now? Type your response in. Okay? You can go on typing, coaches. You go on typing. The other coaches, the MCCs and advanced coaches will keep an eye on the chat. So you go on. So Malini, I hear you saying that, you described what you're feeling and described it as in control, but there's an hollowness, and even saying the words, I feel in control, is not sitting well with you.
The word and the feeling, they together are not sitting well. So it is not, I'm still feeling in control. I guess my head is feeling in control.
Mm-hmm.
And as I'm talking to you, yes, my head is feeling very clear in control. But there is, I think there is an anxiety saying there's so much to be done. Maybe that is what the hollowness is.
Okay.
I'm anxious.
Yeah. So I'm feeling a need to continue coaching you, but I know that we have to allow our coaches to respond. Coaches, will you respond to that, please? So is the anxiousness then related to, I'll start that again. So I hear you say you're more in control, your headspace feels in control. Where are you feeling this anxiousness?
Anxiousness is here in the same place as the hollowness.
Yeah, I know you keep making reference to your chest. You keep pointing to it. And is there, are you able to identify right now what's going on there in that hollowness?
I guess there are these small things, they're just tiny little, too many things. And when I'm saying this, it is raining heavily here and my daughter can't go down and play. So I just took about 40, 50 balls, tennis balls, plastic balls, and I just went there and I just let it loose in the living room. And poor thing is now picking up and having fun with it. So right now it feels like that. There are these small balls all over, small things to do all over. And it's nothing big. It is nothing that cannot be handled it's not one thing which is overwhelming, big thing. It is just a sheer number of small things I need to do. That is what I think is causing the hollowness and the anxiousness. It's just too many small things.
So I'm not ignoring the hollowness and your emotions right now, but I'd like to just check this in with you. What do you think would be of most value to you in the session today?
I think just saying it out aloud, having a conversation to acknowledge for myself that it is nothing, touch wood, thank God for it, nothing big I'm dealing with. And it is just this simple administrative, if I can call it, things, small things I need to put in place. That is one thing. And the second thing is just one step forward. How do I, and it's not, I know how to resolve it. It is just maybe getting started in that direction.
So you know, so I'll say what I'm hearing, and you have clarified the goal, okay, for you. Is that okay?
Yes.
So I'm hearing that you want to, you know, manage all these little pieces. Also, just talk about it to gain more clarity on what those little pieces are, how to manage it, and it seems like you already know what to do with it.
Yes.
So if you have to walk away with sorry, you go ahead, Melanie, you speak.
So, I also know what these areas are. I think just having to share, so sharing what I'm feeling and acknowledging it for myself, I think that itself will be a good place for me. And with that, I will move towards doing something about it. And doing something about it is just putting it down on a piece of paper to begin with. And I have friends and family to support me where I can take a picture and say, please buy these things and keep it for me in India. So I can do that, but I just need they just need that list from me, which I have to send it. So maybe that can be one thing. Yeah. Just motivated to just do it. I think sharing is a big thing for me right now, I think.
Okay, I hear the motivation piece, and this is the second time you spoke about that. But just to get some clarity on what exactly you want from the session, sounds like you want to just speak it out, and sounds like I'm going to be a sounding board for you so that you get it all out.
Yes. Yes.
The clarity of speaking it out, would that be a session goal for you?
Yes.
Or is there another way you would like to say that?
So I guess I haven't had the time to sit down and think through. So I'm using this opportunity to just talk this with you. And through that, I will move to my actions.
Okay. So to talk it through and move to some actions.
And I guess when I'm saying this, what is coming into my mind is maybe identify why I haven't done it so far. While I don't want to go back and go back in the past, but just acknowledge why haven't I done it so far and just got on with it. Maybe there is something which is holding me, which I'm not realizing, which I don't know, and that is why I haven't moved forward yet.
So I'm getting a sense that what you're just saying now, maybe there's something standing in your way or holding you back or something you've not identified, is what you would like to address or work on in the session. Is that right?
Yes.
Or is there something more?
No, I think that is it. I think I just want to know why haven't I moved when everything is so clear in my head? I know these are small things. I know these are just lists in various areas. And I haven't moved forward. And while I'm talking to you, and I said I want to just speak out, that the anxiety around this has reduced a lot from, I don't know, on a scale of 1 to 10, it has gone down to maybe 2 right now. But when I spoke to you for the first time, it was like a big hollow thing, which has kind of just diminished a lot. Just having, I'm getting energy while talking to say, yeah, these are small things. Acknowledge these are small things, and then just get on with it.
And, I want to acknowledge what you are sharing around, it's becoming less stressful or less anxious for you, in your words, as you are speaking about it. And I'm also wondering, I'm hearing here a few values that you're going to get out of the session, like just talking it out would make the session worthwhile for you. What else are you hoping to walk away with from the session?
Strange thing that I'm going to say, but just energy. Or maybe just maybe accountability, because I have said it to you that I'm going to do something. Accountability to myself, or to saying, oh, I'm saying it aloud that I will do it in front of 48 people. I better do it. Something like that, yeah. I guess it's not, I'm going to move mountains. I just have to sit down and start writing.
This is also the second time you spoke about starting to write. What is it are you hoping to write?
Things to do under various heads.
Okay. So is that possibly an action that you want to walk away with after today's session or in the session?
Yes, that is the action that has to happen. For anything else to happen, that needs to happen.
And you spoke earlier on about motivation. How do you want motivation to play out in today's session?
I guess it's already happening. My anxiety or this anxiousness, what I was feeling, is low. I can feel myself, my voice has become different. I can feel myself being, the way I'm talking is far more confident than what I started with. So the motivation is already happening, I guess. It's turning. I can feel it turning already. I'm far more relaxed than when I started talking to you. So I guess the sounding board, yes, is working.
Yeah. And throughout, from the beginning of the session, as you were speaking, there seems to be a lot of value or meaning in talking, just talking this out. There seems to be a lot of value coming out in having many balls, and you wanting to pick up at least a few and write some list around that. And also, you spoke about the value of just the anxiety becoming less. And I just saw you take a sigh, Yeah. Is there anything more showing up here that we're missing on the value or the importance for today's session?
So something, when you were talking about it, I realized that, so I live in Nigeria, been here for 5 years. I think I'm just missing my friends. And this used to be, so it's just, for me, my friends, more friends, family has been all over all the time, but friends who have been together, we would just, if something like that was happening, I said, I'm not able to get this list done. And one of my friends would say, okay, I'm coming for a cup of tea. Let's get it done. And they are just sitting there drinking tea with me, and I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. And it's not that they are making my list or they are ordering from Amazon or anything. It just would be it would be a fun thing to do. Now it looks, it's a very painful thing to sit down and write what I need to do. It just feels very painful. So I guess I'm missing them. So when you said talking, and like when I'm speaking with you, and I think that is where I'm drawing my energy from, to say, okay, so I'm thinking, I know I need to get it done. It's a matter of a couple of hours, and I will just do it. And maybe I'll call one of them on phone, put them on phone instead of having face-to-face conversation, or just do it myself. So I think I'm just missing my friends, I guess, because a lot of it would be done together. Or they would say, why are you buying this? You know, you don't even need it. Why are you buying this? Why are you wasting your money or your time or something like that? Or say, why are you buying it from here? We would do things together. So I guess I'm just missing them. And therefore, that is, I think, having one more person with me to do it. And my husband has been very, very busy for the last couple of weeks with various things, because we all are traveling together. So when I have time, he doesn't. When he has time, I don't have time. So we haven't been able to do this together. So I think it is just me doing it alone is what is painful. And that is why I wasn't doing it. Interesting.
So I'm wondering whether that is something you'd like to address in the session. You know, having support, more support around you, or how you would do things differently if there was no support around you.
No, it's just, I guess for me too, just knowing why I wasn't doing it, it's all right. That so many times have done things with no support, not because support is not forthcoming, but for whatever reason, it's not available at this moment, and I've gone ahead and done what I had to do. So for me, I just didn't realize that is what I was looking for, and that is why I was not moving forward. But now that I know, and that's okay, I'm going to meet my family, friends, and they're there all the time. They're just a phone call away. So now I know why I wasn't doing it. That is enough for me to just remove it as a roadblock and just move ahead. Suddenly I'm feeling, yeah, of course it will get done. It will get done today. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll just do a short recap. We spoke a bit earlier on about your goal of getting everything out. And, you know, some things you wanted to walk away with was to pick up some bowls, write a list around it, and ease out that anxiousness in you. And also work a bit, or what you would like to work on, explore a bit more, is that question you just asked. Why are you not doing it? Then you know you could. You knew all the answers. You said earlier on, you know what to do and you know how to resolve it. You were just not doing it. And as you described, swimming in it. Yeah. So time to time, you know, we just kept a check on this as we move forward into the session. Should we keep an eye on it and check on it? How's it going for you? Will that work for you?
Yes, it did.
How will that work for you?
Yes, it did.
Okay. Can I ask that we stop the coaching here just to give our learners a chance to ask questions and our panelists to get into a discussion too? Is that okay, Melanie?
That's fine. Thank you.
It was a pleasure working with you. And honestly, we came to a point when you kept pointing to your chest and spoke about the hollowness. And I knew at that point we couldn't interrupt the coaching anymore. So I had to go with my gut and continue, and forgot that we had 40 some odd other coaches on the call.
No, even I forgot, but it was very helpful, and I kind of put the speaker on so I wasn't distracted with anybody else. And it's very difficult to get time to sit down and think sometime, and I guess I took this as an opportunity to do it. So thank you for having me here.
Okay, coaches, thanks, Melanie. You didn't get much of a chance now to ask questions or to engage with the client on the rest of the CC2 markers. So please type the questions or any discussion points you want to raise onto the chat, and we'll pick it up and engage with you in discussion. And I'd like to ask our panel, what is standing out for you, or what questions, discussion points is coming up for you after listening to a piece of coaching?
So Cindy, shall I go first?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. So, I was, I've just done the first 30 hours, and I was trying to go through the mechanics of ensuring that, we cover the competency 2.1 to 2.5, ensure that, I leave no chance to let go of an opportunity to put that in, as a marker. And what I'm seeing here in a conversation of this kind, I mean, I've done a few coaching sessions myself, and I've come to see this happen again and again, I'm trying very hard to structure the conversation in my mind so that I can bring some semblance of a method to the conversation. And the client has no reason to go through that order, right? The client has, is a free mind, and they're going to say whatever they feel like. So I'm getting sucked into the client's story in some way, which is far beyond my control. I'm not able to pull myself away from Malini's story as it is progressing. And I'm completely losing, my markers. I mean, I'm just not sure where it is all going. So how does one, keep to the structure and look for cues, I'm not trying to, to use tricks here, but I'm just trying to be faithful to the process of coaching, because Ram, the last time he met us, he said, trust the process, so I want to trust the process. And to trust the process, I need to be able to hold on to it. How does one do it?
I think you're quite spot on in many of the things you were saying, that there is a process, and the process is your PCC markers, right? And the thing is, we can't, processes and markers are there to help us with coaching somebody. You actually cannot take a client's story and roll it into the markers.
Yes.
So, as time goes on, the more you practice, you'll see how you can actually dance with those markers, those 5 markers, as the client is telling you their story. And Malini was not talking with some system in place like CC 2.1, 2.2. We all saw that, right? We experienced that. But if you have an uncertainty within you, then go back and recap with the client. This is the goal you wanted, and this, what is your measures of success? So you can go back and recap. That also is of value to the client to know what they are walking away with in the session. My answer may not be as clear as you would have liked it, but the more you practice around it, the more clear it becomes for you. And it's still early days. You've got 30 hours of coaching. You've got lots of time to practice.
Sure, thanks.
Kamal? You're on mute.
I'm on. Thank you so much, Cindy and Malini. It's been really very interesting to witness building up the markers with such a smooth and flowing conversation. So I think it's been really beautiful for me to witness. Your question, Cindy, as to what stood out really for, and I also absolutely agree with Anand where he says that sometimes you go in the flow with the client's story and what they are telling, that certain points go amiss, and I agree with him absolutely. What stood out really for me was the question where you've asked Malini about the values, really, like what value she is trying to derive out of it. And that kind of shifted her so beautifully from her just thinking of it as a task versus versus an activity that she might enjoy. And that kind of brought in a lot of shift, which is quite revelatory for me, because honestly, in my practice sessions, I haven't thought of it like that. I haven't done it like that. And the way you have also, I think, like a sounding board, reconfirmed the words that she's spoken, like the words on motivation and all of that. So I think that has worked pretty well for me, because in terms of the marker, if I may say that coming to the 2.4 has always been a bit of a challenge as to how would you include it in a conversation which is flowing. So sometimes as a coach, I would see that, can I just interrupt the flow? Or is my question going to give it a different direction than where it is going and leading? So a lot of that kind of confusion comes in while coaching, basically, that whether you like to let it go with the flow or you just inquire something which is coming to you. So that is one point where I would really struggle at times.
What do you think? What's your gut sense telling you?
I think sometimes something becomes quite intuitive, and you would be really tempted to ask, but the real question there is that, is it really your intuition or your mind asking you to ask something or to lead it to some direction? So it's, yeah,
Because
so it's a bit of a...
Sorry to interrupt you, Kumar. Core competency 2 is about establishing the agreement for the session, right? The agreement for the whole of the session.
Yes.
And we coaches know how to do that. But our clients don't know how to answer according to what we know, right?
Absolutely, yes.
So their story may go all over the place, but nevertheless, we still got to demonstrate CC2, establishing an agreement for the session. And sometimes that takes 8 minutes or 10 minutes, and sometimes that takes 20 minutes. So it's depending on what kind of a client we have. And sometimes if it's for non-credentialing purposes, it takes a longer time. You know, the client really has to talk about a whole lot of things before they get the clarity of a goal. Meaning they may have some brown water that needs to flow out. They may have an issue that they need to talk about. Then the clarity of a goal will begin to really emerge.
Yes, I think, yeah, that's really interesting, because it has happened that it felt like that the entire session is going on only to define a particular goal. Yeah, I think the point that you've made, that the clients don't know our process, is quite apt there. Yes. So how do we mold our process vis-a-vis the client's flow?
I'll let Priya answer that. Priya?
Yeah, I think the way I would look at it is not look at that as two parallel processes. Not look at the coach's process versus the client's story. I think it's a beautiful dance, the blend of both. So therefore, the markers are really integrated into the client's story. And that's what you saw so beautifully Cindy do, because she never once used language which was her own. It was just completely the client's language. And picked it up where the client left. And the next question sort of organically came from what the client has said. But as a coach, you could see that she was keeping a few points in mind, like motivation, which she revisited. So my invitation is not to look at them as two separate pieces. It's not a parallel process. It is one process, and it's integrated.
Yeah. It's, you know, the more, I'm sure there are quite a few learners on the call that are starting their coach training, coaches on the call. Some of you may be more advanced at a start point, like Anit is 30 hours. So the more advanced you get, the more used you get to this word partnering and how you partner with a client. And within that space of partnering, both you and the client are co-creating what the session looks like, all the CC2 markers. So both of you are doing this jointly. It's not coach just imposing some marker words on the client, but coach is raising that nevertheless, using the client language. Because if you don't know what the client wants from the session as a goal and what they consider successful or valuable or worthwhile from the session, then how are you going to coach? And how will you manage progress or help the client manage their progress throughout the session? I see the chat is very quiet. Coaches, you have no questions or discussion points?
Can I come in here for a minute?
Oh, yes, of course.
Because I guess one, there is a marker story. Second, there is my story. And third, I guess when I came in, I myself wasn't clear what did I actually want out of this session. I honestly didn't know, but I was wanting to speak whatever is there in my head and get some clarity. At no point I felt that you were ticking the markers off to say, oh, I have asked her this and I have asked her this. But I constantly felt that you are helping me clarify what I want, because I myself didn't know. So, and because you were asking the questions, I know, so I could take and say, okay, it is getting done, but you helped me clarify what I want out of the session. And not only, and through that, I actually got what I wanted. I understood what was blocking me or what was I looking for and why I didn't do what I would have easily done otherwise. So at all times, I felt you were helping me clarify or helping me understand myself better. That is what I felt, that, okay, I don't know what I want and I don't know what is holding me back, but something is just, it doesn't feel right. So what I felt through it was you were helping me figure out what is it that I want, not out of just this 20 minutes, but really, what do I want to do now? That's how I felt as a client. Yeah.
So Malini, if I were to just follow on to what you just said, if I were asking you this question instead of Cindy, and if I were to use just those marker-based questions and straight away ask you things like, a question like, so what would be an outcome of this discussion in the next 20 minutes or so that'll be useful for you? Follow that up with, why is it so important for you to resolve it now? And then ask you, what could you do to address you bothering your motivation issues right now? If I were to use those marker specific questions, would you get offended or would you not be able to clarify it?
I don't know, actually. I can't say that because I was in I have shifted in the last 20 minutes after the coaching. So I can't answer that truthfully to say it would have helped me or not helped me. If those questions would have felt appropriate to me in terms of if those questions would have helped me move forward, I think it would have helped me move forward.
Of course.
But if I find that question coming in without a context, then I would have,
sure,
I would have not been offended, but my thinking would have been blocked somewhere. Like I don't know who asked, but a lot of questions were a lot about hollowness. And I'm not sure if I wanted to go that path, because the hollowness was not out of depression or something else. It was just something like too many things, too many small things. And the moment Cindy asked that question about, you're pointing it here. How does it feel? And immediately I just related to what I did a second back. I just threw 50 balls and I came back and I said, let her pick one color ball up and put it. So she will learn colors. She's basically just not even two. Let her pick one color and keep in my mind, what I'm asking my 2-year to do is what is happening in my head. I have these various multicolored balls in my head and I just want to organize them so that I can sort them out quickly. But to answer your question, I don't know. If it would have been asked in a way that moved me forward, it would have helped.
Sure.
And I can say, trust the process because it does work. I struggled with CC2 myself, and Cindy knows, she was my supervisor. I struggled with CC2 myself earlier on, but the more it feels like, the more CC2 feels one with you, the better your coaching. I don't know how to say this, but better your coaching gets. If you and CC2 are friends, your coaching will be far more easier. But if you take it as saying, oh my God, I have to take these markers to pass, they are very painful to ask. But if they are your friends and you think they are your friends, they will help you. Very strange thing to say, but.
No, well said. Very well said.
The more you practice, the more it becomes an integrated approach. You know, it doesn't become a clean, I'm asking a marker question. But I got to also tell you as a learner, the best way to start learning is just to ask it like a marker question. It starts to embed. It starts to embed in you. And I've got to ask this, and this. Ask it like that. It's okay. If it doesn't land well with the client, you'll pick it up. And you can, say something next so that you can address the away emotion that your client may be feeling. But the best way to practice with your colleagues or peers in class is to ask it directly as it is, because you're all in the same shoes. And the more you practice, the more it becomes a free flow of client language. But the starting point when we all start learning something is just start to learn it as it is.
I think that's one very important observation that Malini has made, and Anand's question, and what Priya mentioned about it not being a parallel process but one flowing process. I think that is one prime difference, that as long as we are using a set language and a set question, it will come across as a parallel and not really in a free flow. So yeah, so first we get into our learning mode that, okay, this is what we need to follow as a process, and then mold it in the same language that the client is talking. Is that how it's going to shift?
Yeah, there are MCCs on this call who will tell you the same thing. When we started learning it, even at that level, we learned it as it was. These are the markers you're going to ask it. And by the time it was ready for MCCs to apply for credentialing, it became a different kind of flowing language. We all learned it like that and asked a million questions about the reason why we asked that particular marker. Like the reason, why would you ask somebody, what's the importance or meaningful or valuable this is for you? Why would you ask your client that? Because you want to know the topic has some value to them, and what is the value? Because the more value it has, the deeper becomes the meaning for the client, right? That they want to work on it, and it adds a lot of value. And client will always raise some underlying issue or something they want to work on as they tell the story. So asking, what do you want to address in the session without picking that up? Pick it up and say, I heard that. And what else would you like to address in the session? Ask a client, what do you want from the session? Always something comes up that's more. It's never, I want to work on building a new website. Isn't as clean as that. There's a whole lot of things attached to that, right?
Correct. Yeah. So I think in a way, all these markers in competency 2 kind of attach and associated with other competencies as well, directly.
Yeah, you were going to say something.
So there was a question from one of the participants. I thought it might be interesting for you to answer this, Cindy, which is when you're clear about the session outcome, and if the client says, I just want to express and share, what could be the next step in terms of clarifying the goal?
Well, what would tell you that you have shared enough, or just, what did you say? What was the two words you used, Priya?
Just to express and share.
What would tell you that you've adequately sharing and expressing during the session, you know? What are you hoping to get out of the sharing and expressing? Because if you know the answer to that, then you can link it to the measures of success or what the client considers successful for them from the session. So what are you hoping to get out of sharing? Or how would you know you have adequately shared in the session? What is the sharing going to bring you? Your language, coach, or client language? There's different ways of asking the same thing.
Right.
Like a client say, I want clarity from the session. So what do you want clarity on? Or how will clarity show up in the session?
So essentially what we are saying, Cindy, just to build on what you said, is we still go ahead with all the markers because we want to understand what this just to express and share, what makes it meaningful. How does one know? Yeah, so every one of these markers will fit in even with something that looks pretty obvious as a session goal.
Absolutely. It all beautifully flows, you know, into the client story. And if it doesn't feel that way right now, it's okay. You are practicing. One of these days it's going to feel that way to you. So I'm not keeping an eye well enough on the chat. Is there anything else on that chat that we need to pick up on, Priya?
Nothing significant in the sense everyone is, you know, sharing, noting. So it's all flowing very well. Nothing that needs to be addressed at this point, as I see it. There's a comment by Dravian, which is interesting. What I understand from this demonstration is that a coach necessarily need not build the session around a step-by-step linear fashion of questioning, but in a very organic, explorative approach. I think that's beautifully articulated, which is based around not forgetting that arriving at a goal is a compulsory milestone in the session. And the coach should endeavor to not completely drift away from trying to arrive at a specific outcome. I think that's really well said.
Well said, absolutely. So coaches, I want to also talk to you about the linking of other core competencies to CC2. So what are the core competencies you saw show up in our coaching? What else showed up? If you want to type into the chat box, please go ahead and do so. There's many core competencies that showed up, right? It wasn't only CC2, what looks like transaction, establishing a contract. Many core competencies showed up. What showed up? Absolutely. Presence, trust, direct communication. Yeah. Establishing trust, absolutely. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, active listening. Somebody said 8, creating awareness also showed up.
I think yes.
Yeah?
Absolutely. So even awareness was there in this stage as well.
Progress also showed up, right? CC11. Progress and accountability. Yeah. Now can you see how one core competency, CC2, in a credentialing process, you just think you're doing CC2, but you're getting marked for all the other core competencies showing up. Like the way you listen and respond to the client, it's active listening, trust, presence, just like how you're responding on the chat. All those core competencies are beginning to show up. And can you see how you begin to get marked for all those core competencies right from the moment you ask the client, what is it they want to focus on in today's session?
Cindy, I think it's also another observation that I had regarding this awareness in this while discussing the core competency too, because when we are learning and going through somewhere, you know, we fit the entire thing in our mind in the same fashion as the core competencies as described. And we may start to assume that awareness may start to happen somewhere when we have already explored the case and situation and the who and everything. And then, but this was something very specific and unique. And honestly, it was occurring to my mind that, oh, the awareness has come just right in the competency too. So what are we going to do in the rest of the sessions? So
There was, you know, the client says, you know, I want to work on why am I not doing it? So you can pull that piece in, because honestly, to me, it felt like, and Manu, you can correct me, it felt like the client was just feeling a bit overwhelmed at having too much in her head, not because she can't do it, but just that feeling kept her there. Perhaps just the feeling of overwhelm that got her in a space of, I don't like to use this word, but stuck in that space. It's my word, not hers. You know, sometimes how we think something is a bit too much and we can't do it, and yet when we start to talk about it, it feels lesser to us. It felt like it was beginning to show up. It was becoming lesser and lesser.
absolutely.
I guess for me, that is why I think I shifted from saying I'm not moving forward, and I want to know why. Because when I started talking to you, I realized, what am I talking about? This is quite ridiculous as a conversation for me, that I'm not able to make lists. And I think I'm queen of lists, actually, because I make lists for everything. And that's when I said, no, there's something more happening to me where I'm not doing it, not because it is difficult for me, but there is something else holding me back. And I guess when you picked that up, Cindy, about talking, that is when it kind of, the penny dropped for me to say, actually, I'm just missing my friends and just being with them. I guess that is when, and you're right, the awareness started from there to say, what am I talking about? The more I was explaining to say what I want out of this session, and I said, yeah, I think I just want to talk. Because I really didn't have, I can't say that by the end of it, I'll have my list done or my things done. So I guess you're right. It starts from the first question, what do you want out of the session? Or what is your objective in the session? Where do you want to end up? By the end of the session, where do you want to be? The awareness starts from there.
We've almost reached the time at the end of our time together, and it went too quickly, right, Priya?
It did.
I would like to have gone on coaching, you know, a 40-minute session would have been nice.
Yeah.
But coach, do it again, and let us know what other core competency you want discussed, or whether the next time we meet, we should discuss some tools like iceberg model or something else, you know. So let us know what you want to discuss for our next session. To the panel, it was wonderful having you share your thoughts and raise your points. And of course, Melanie, thank you so much. I asked her a few minutes before the session if she would be my client. Like 5 minutes to go, I sent her a WhatsApp message, would you be my client? I'd like to do some coaching. And she said yes, so.
No.
Yeah.
Thank you. No, it is great to get that clarity in my head, and I can't tell you, it has been going on for a couple of weeks now, and suddenly I feel lighter. So thank you for coaching me, and it's always useful, and thank you.
Coaches, anything you want to say to complete the session or to feel completed? Coaches
There's a comment here from one of the participants, Cindy, that they would like more discussions around other competencies and tools, and how to take the client deeper. For future sessions, yeah. I also want to remind the group here that if you want to claim CCUs for this session, for coaches who are already credentialed, do go into this link and type in your password, which is LIME, and claim your CCUs. Magda is great at coming up with names for the password.
What's the password?
LIME.
L-I-M-E. LIME.
L-I-M. Magda, do you have a story for that?
I always have a story. So today's choices are all citrus fruits. Because I'm usually thinking about food or I'm doing something in the garden. So there's a lot of nature things. Today I was thinking of making marmalade. And when I was in India, Nina, Ram's wife, had me try this amazing marmalade. Apparently it's a local brand only in India. And it was maize milky with oranges and with ginger, and it was ridiculous. And I basically, oh my gosh, I ate like 2 jars when I was there for a week. So I tried making it and it didn't work. So I was just thinking to myself, what would make it better? And I thought limes. So I'll be making a marmalade with a bunch of citrus. I'm gonna add lime this time and it's gonna work.
Recipe, please.
Once I figure it out, yes. But I will, but oh my gosh, ask Ram for that brand of marmalade. Oh my goodness. Like honestly, I think about it on a weekly basis.
Okay. I love marmalade, so recipe would be welcome whenever you figure it out.
Okay, will do.
I think the coaches, maybe one of these sessions we'll do a role play or we'll do some coaching around CCH, right, Priya? How to go into a deeper space with a client. So instead of talking about it, maybe we'll do a piece of coaching and then we can discuss it.
Lovely.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.